Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the PM and the AM show. I am Pat Bernard, alongside my man, Mike Lauer. What's going on, Mikey?
Morning, Patrick.
What's up, buddy? And good morning to you, Al. What's up, dude?
Good morning, gentlemen. What's going on?
A whole lot. Some good, some bad. And we're going to break it all down. So we got a lot to get into today. We have a bounce back Phillies team out in the desert right now. We have a red hot Flyers team that's coming out of the woodworks.
October Flyers.
Yes. Oktoberfest for the Flyers. And then we, of course, we're going to be talking some birds. And, of course, we're going to talk some Penn State with my man Mike Bolger, who covers the team out there in Happy Valley. But anyway, let's dive into some things. Mike, first of all, last night, the fighting Phillies looked really, really good. They bounced back. A lot of people had a lot of concern going into yesterday's game. Had doomsday written all over it.
Baseball widow. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I love Walt. I think Walt's up with us as much as
yes.
Yeah, Walt was here commenting late into the wee hours of the morning as we were here last night.
Yes.
But Pat, dominant performance. Insadio says, "Sup, fellas, Pat? Why do you look like you have a kid? You look like a kid because he wants to get licked."
Yes, all over.
See.
But anyway, yes, Mike. But continue.
Zach Wheeler, dominant performance last night by Zach Wheeler. They really needed him to go 7 innings last night, and he did a great job. Was a 1 walk, a 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts last night. Again, like his postseason, he's becoming his legacy's starting to build now with these postseason starts, man. And
Mike,
I think the legacy's there.
First of all, I definitely think now the Phillies offense is in the mind of one Zach Gallen. But more importantly than that, Mike, you bring up his strikeout ratio, right? Between him and Nola from last year's postseason till now, the combination of strikeouts is 113. 113.
Yeah, him and Nola are becoming a really good 1-2 postseason punch.
Oh, look at this. My man dies. What's going on, buddy? He goes, nearly lost my voice from last night's win, and is it Monday yet? Oh, dies. We're creeping into Monday, buddy. We're here. Me and Mike here, the PM and the AM. We'll get you ready for the week.
More like PM and the whenever at this time.
Yes.
Over the last few days.
It's 5 o'clock sober, Al.
Yeah.
I think the studios became my new home. I've been here so much.
You had an address change.
I had an address change, yeah. Slept on the couch over there.
But, Mike, you bring up, Zach Wheeler yesterday. Zach Allen, like I said, I think the Phillies offense, real estate in that man's head. But most importantly, the struggle in the desert has been the bullpen. And yesterday, they held their own.
Well, that's because they didn't have to go through the whole bullpen list. I mean, it's nice. Our $17 million cheerleader was there last night, cheering on the Phillies and Taiwan Walker. We were talking about this last night, me, Al, and Maddie. Like, what is the purpose of Lorenzen and Walker on this team right now?
No trust, appararily.
Front row seats for guys who I guess they think.
Like, I want that job. Like, I'll come in and pitch and
I'll make money and not get paid.
It's easy. Why not go? It would be easy for me to sit in the front row and eat nuts. You know what I mean? It'd be great. You're right over there.
Swallowing hot dogs and eating nuts.
It's all great package. But
I'm gonna need a bigger one of these.
No, but
let's see what he said.
But I really think. I mean, and it's so funny because early in the game, like the commentator's like, "Oh, look at Zach Allen. He's got his glasses on. He's like Superman. Once he puts his glasses on, he's unhittable."
Yeah, can we go
and my man got rocked.
No, listen, those commentators last night. Me and Al were sitting here watching the game, and every fly ball that got hit, you would have thought
they want the Diamondbacks to win or at least prolong this series as long as humanly possible.
I never saw a set of commentators, with the exception, like, believe it or not, Mr. Met, Ron Darling. He's the only one that's really kind of between, what's his name, Brian Anderson and Frank Core. I've never seen them bring up 2 teams that got eliminated the previous round as much as they bring up the Braves and the Dodgers in this series. Like, the Braves and the Dodgers are not in this series, but yet Brian Anderson finds a way to sneak those 2 teams in, I guess to try to keep them relevant or whatever. But He's a little over the top. Like every
He
fly,
did. He got as soon as that first. And by the way, we got to give my man Kyle Schwarber some credit because back-to-back games, he's on launch. He's been giving Diamondbacks free souvenir baseballs.
I'm more impressed with that single he hit. You know how hard it is to hit a cue shot down third base like that?
Yeah, and again, Bryson Stott getting things going yesterday, and getting the RBI. You had the collision at home. Bryce Harper just running through that guy like a train.
Yeah, and that was a classy move by Harper too to make sure the guy was all right. I mean, as he's patting the guy, he's patting home plate, making sure. But
yeah, gotta love it. You gotta love it.
And then, of course, like you mentioned, Wheeler having 8 Ks. The guy was on fire yesterday. And then just again, the offense starts picking apart that pitching staff. And then, of course, the icing on the cake was JT Realmuto with his 2-run home run.
Yeah, we knew that was going
deep to left.
As soon as he
the Phillies won, the 3 home runs they hit, there were no doubters.
Mm-hmm.
No doubters. But every time somebody hit something to straightaway center field, and it fell 15 feet in front of the track. Like, I'm like, what was it?
The hardest hit ball all night to center field was the one Castellanos smoked.
Yeah, he
he
go up against
smoked it.
The ball.
Like if that was CBP, that ball was probably in Ashburn Alley.
If it wasn't for the humidor, that probably was over that yellow.
Oh
line.
yeah, it was going. I mean, of course, and then you got to give the the kid from Diamondbacks. He hit his second home run too. Alex Thomas. Alex Thomas. Yeah, he went yard again. So,
but I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from this team. Again, everyone had their doubts, and it's just like relax. And then again, now you took one out of there, so all you have to do now,
you got to win one here. So,
look who's here. My man Lou Greco. He can't get enough of PM and the AM. I love my man Lou. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Lou?
He's waiting the next week already. He's already saying, see you next week.
No,
yeah,
I think he's going on vacation. So.
Yeah, he's going on a cruise to Mexico.
Lucky him.
I feel bad for him already.
Yes. Yeah, he's got himself the subscription. My man's going. He can't wait for PM and the AM. But, yeah, like I said, though, this offense is clicking. And the infield defense was really, really good. Of course, we saw the Bryson Stott play. Yes.
Plays like Stott.
Dude, he bounced off that turf.
Yes.
Make that one. He bounced. He went down, chest down, bounced up, got the ball, and he bounced off of his chest. He didn't jump up from his feet. It's pretty amazing.
I like the one where the ball kind of took him towards right field, and he just turned and gunned him out. Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm have had really good gloves in this postseason. I really feel like that. So now if we can get just Turner and Harper too. Harper's had some great snags in the field as well.
Well, like you and I mentioned Friday night, we mentioned about how Harper struggled. And man, did he just turn it around? He turned around big time yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, like I said, the collision at home, he crushes it to right. Again, you can't sleep on this offense. You never know when they're going to strike.
Yeah.
They'll strike venom into that.
It's going to be an interesting game 6, I believe, because Arizona's back's against the wall. So I can see what's his name, Kelly. I can see them having a short leash with him.
Yeah, they got no other option.
Listen, honestly, we were making the joke last night, but if I'm anybody playing the Phillies right now, I'm finding their best unknown pitcher and throwing him out there anytime.
Yeah,
be
that's
right back, guys.
Yeah. Anytime the Phillies go against an unknown or a guy they haven't seen yet this season, they always seem to struggle. You get these guys who are supposed to be phenoms, and the next best thing.
Oh my gosh,
they seem to be okay against them. So it's that's what I'm doing. If I'm gonna have a bullpen game or something, I'm putting guys out there. They haven't seen
to me though. I don't want to. Again, I'm just looking at hindsight, but I think the series is already over because your best shot was the win at home with the momentum, and now, like I said, with your best pitcher.
Well, they couldn't. There's no way they could have won at home.
No, but I mean, last night's game was most important for him, and everyone's
them being up 3-2.
Yeah, and so. With Zach Gallen, though, being their ace and all that fun stuff, and however, again, the commentator is the whole Schmidt, they forgot to take a look on the other side where we have a Zach of our own. And that dude is dicing it right now. And then with that being said, again, Kelly's going to have to pitch his best game. It's going to be hard for him. It's going to be tough because now with the Phillies get the dub, they're going to be feasting and making sure and being loud and all those sorts of distractions for Kelly, where it's going to be a tough place to pitch, where you're going to wind up causing yourself hiccups and giving this Phillies offense what they need. And that's exactly what they'll do, and they'll launch it. So
Dives is saying if the Phillies win tomorrow, it will be 1 year anniversary to Bedlam of the Bank from last year.
Wow.
And it will be Bedlam.
Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah, it definitely will. So let me ask you, Al. So the Phillies, of course, here goes all the scores from last night. Schwarber goes 2 for 4. Turner 0 for 4. Harper 2 for 4.
Turner was
2 for 4.
0 for 3, right?
Turner was 0 for 4.
0 for 4. That's right, the ninth inning.
Yeah. Bohm 0 for 3. Stott 2 for 4. Remucho 1 for 4. Castellanos 0 for 3. Marsh 1 for 4. And Rojas 1 for 4. So, again, Topper didn't make no adjustments. He kept what it was. He kept this team for what it was. No substitutions. Just unleashed hell on that offense. And Zach, again, when Wheeler does start to cool off, he makes the switch out. Brings in Alvarado. Alvarado gets the strike. Puts up a K, and this team is now cruising. Now, you know what I mean? Sir, brings in Hoffman, brings in Sir Anthony Dominguez, brings in Strom. Guys holding down, and that's what it was the night before. That's what was the nightmare. Kimbrel giving up, was the icing on the cake. Not everyone having their best game. But with this bullpen holding things down and this offense taking care of the business at hand, this team's dangerous. This team is dangerous. And if we're suited up for the rematch, and I think that's what the Phillies want, look out Astros.
Listen, I get a little superstitious, and I look. It's hard for not to look forward. Right. I mean, coming home, you only have to win one game.
One out of the two.
To take the series at home. It's the back's against the wall for the Diamondbacks on this one. Can they do it? Yeah.
And did you notice too yesterday? Right away. Again, I love the game plan because the minute who was it? Harper. Somebody got on base. Again, they go right at it, stealing bases. The aggressive base stealing. Again, where you have to put Zach Gallen's head on a swivel and he can't concentrate the whole time. Again, that causes his pitch control. You know what I mean? His command was not always in the strike zone. Him throwing some stuff and then him giving the Phillies exactly what they want. So, that just caused them a lot of problems. And again, this is especially being here in Philly. Oh man, I can't see how this series is not over come Monday.
Well, I mean, like I said, again, it's hard not to see. But I'm a guy who doesn't like to look like that, but it's hard not to look at it, and it does look like the stars are aligning for back-to-back American League champs, National League champs to meet again in the World Series 2 years in a row, which I would love to know.
The last rematch hasn't been since 1979 with the Yankees and somebody.
There you go. Yankees and somebody.
Yeah.
That's the way it was back then.
Yeah, right.
The Yankees and somebody.
So here goes Walter. Walter says Anthony's still not getting the job done.
Anthony.
So keep him out there. Keep him out in closing games. Look, Walt, I hear you, buddy. Oh, my man Joe Sullivan checked into the show. What's up, Joe? He goes, yo, fellas. Big Birds win come tonight. Phillies close out tomorrow. Great times. Yeah, well, Joe, I mean, look, I love you're optimistic. And I listen, I'm there. I'm there with you. I think the Eagles will bounce back tonight, but I think for sure the Phillies will get things done tomorrow. And just like I say, the rallyiness of the crowd, the whole thing's for the taking for the Phillies. The recipe for success for the Phillies will be there tomorrow, no doubt about it. So, like I said, though, the Phillies pitching staff has been serviceable, and this is what you need. They're taking care of business. Breaking out lights.
He's breaking out
the
Lynch jersey.
Yeah, I mean, listen. It does just have that feeling, and I mean, in 2008, as the Phillies would play with the Rockies, the Dodgers, and then of course, ultimately Tampa Bay. Every series had the same. I feel my heart from back then, like a lot of the same feels. Like there was a little concern at times, but the Phillies just always seem to show up at the right times. And once they started going, like you just felt secure. Even in the weirdest moment, like the Phillies finally getting a World Series since 1980 or 1993, but get a chance to win a World Series since 1980. And there's a rain delay where they have to finish the game, which is still to me does not sit well with me. I'm like, I was there. And I know I was already standing there for an hour and a half, soaked, freezing my butt off. I didn't want to go home. It's still the weirdest thing to me. But
and then they had to come back 2 days later and play the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, again, we're going to get Nola on Monday night, Mr. Freeze, as I like to call him, because I think he's going to be ready to throw some ice balls come Monday evening, rather. I think the dude's going to be locked, set, and ready to go. And for him to close out the series, and again, this is starting to now linger some more of the conversation of his contract extension. Does he deserve it? Do you let him go? But that's going to be looking down the yellow brick road at some point. We'll cross that bridge when it gets here. But, I mean, he's looked really sharp, and I think like I said, he's going to be ready to rock and roll come Monday.
I think so, too. I mean,
there's no reason not to think that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like...
I know. Everybody's waiting for the other shoe to drop with him.
Yes.
Okay, but, keep this in the back of your mind, too.
Can the shoe drop before?
Yes, exactly.
Before we worried about it?
Right. Let the shoe drop first. And even if it does, guess what? This bullpen is now going to be on 2 solid full days rest. You're getting Alvarado on 2 days rest. You're going to get, Hoffman will have a day.
Sorry, Brewers. Yes. I'm sorry, Matty B. I'm getting my
07 was the Rockies.
07 was the Rockies. You're right.
Yes.
Good morning, Matty B.
Good morning, Matt. What's up, buddy?
Matty B didn't sleep. He slept here too last night. He just got home. Mike the minister of defense over there.
Yeah, there we go.
So, like I said, guys, the offense really got on the board first.
Anthony said, "LOL." Angel Hernandez has been up in this series. I was about to say the 4 blind mice, but I mean, hey, whatever.
And that's another thing too. So again, questionable outside pitching. I mean, the calls though. But like I said, the Phillies have been getting their fair share of getting away with some stuff. Carolina D says, why aren't they allowing Lorenzen to pitch? I would rather take the chance on him than Kimbrel.
Well, go ahead. I'll let you go with that one.
I mean, it's simple, man. Like, I think he doesn't trust him. I don't think he trusts him or Walker. I really don't. And I can understand why he hasn't thrown Lorenzen in. I mean, I would still use him.
You think you can't trust Kimbrel. You can't trust Lorenzen. But
I mean, I
think
the second half for those 2 guys, they were just horrible, especially Lorenzen. After he got here, he had the first good start, then he threw the no-hitter. After the no-hitter, man, he went downhill.
Exactly. But we could say the same for Kimbrel. Like, after the All-Star break, he had some flashes, but he's been on decline. And I guess that's what Topper's thinking, that he's going to bounce back.
And then that would have been
and I think Topper's thinking he's going to bounce back.
I'm not sitting there. I'm not advocating like we're Carolina. I'm not advocating for him to be in the 8th spot or the 9th spot at all for Lorenzen. But when you're up, you're having a game. You would have thought the 10-0 win would have been a good time to bring Lorenzen in, or Walker last game, not this or 2 games ago
with the bullpen game.
Bullpen game, like you had Christopher Sanchez, you kept him on a leash, you gave him about 3 innings. That's when you think Walker or Lorenzen are going to come in and throw you another 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah, like why hasn't this
Carolyn D? I appreciate you checking in the show.
Why haven't they? She said she can see a Phillies Astros rematch.
Yeah,
I would love that. I would love that because that means we get home field advantage. So the message is Lorenzen won't be back.
Again, I understand that.
That's
why
after
is he taking
season.
a spot on
the
our
roster.
Right. That's for the off season.
Like I said, I was saying the same thing about Taijuan Walker. Like a lot of people are like, oh, they signed him. Listen, somebody will take him. Like they're going to. If they're not pitching in this, man. Boom. Foods, check it in.
The Foodster.
1 win away, fellas. Happy Kelly Green Sunday. That's right, Foods. Happy Kelly Green Sunday to you as well, brother.
As you guys can tell, Pat is Kelly Greened out right now.
Oh, my God.
He's got his Kelly Green string on. He is ready to go.
That's why he called me Mr. Candy King. But anyway.
I'm out. Turn it off.
Yes.
So, like I said, the Phillies will be coming back home. 5 o'clock start time.
As of right now. If Houston,
that's right.
If Houston wins tonight, that game's going to get moved to 8 o'clock.
Prime time. So
So this is something I heard a little bit about. I want to talk about this before we move on for a second. Yeah. Anthony says, I don't blame Kimbrel because the umps were calling balls that should have been strikes. And Kimbrel was thinking, where can I throw the ball in the strike zone and getting a ball and getting balled a ball. Called a ball, I guess it means. What he's saying is
strike zone was inconsistent.
It was very inconsistent. But let's leading up to it, it hasn't been pretty, but he's been good. But now, like, you know, he lost that one. I guess he's talking about the 2-1 loss, or is he talking about the
6-5? He's got to be talking about the 6-5 because that's like I told you. That's when in this series it kind of reared its ugly head with these umpires because, again, you go back, you watch stuff that Kimbrel was throwing in the 8th inning. They were calling balls, and then Pat's got a prison Waldo.
Well,
but
Joe, they find me in the bathrooms, in the showers.
Dude, it's Sunday morning. It's still Lord's Day. I gotta cut that. No, but no.
Look, Waldo, drop the soap.
Go ahead. Here we go. This guy, you're gonna force me to drink a bottle of Jack Daniels at 10 before 10 on a Sunday.
Yeah, real arm twister there.
Kind of. But no, I mean, if you were, like I said, they kind of put a video comparison up of Kimbrel's pitches in the 8th inning in that game that were being called a ball. And then the next inning, Seaweed or whatever. I'm sorry, Seawalt.
Paul Seawalt.
No, it's, Paul Seawalt.
Yeah.
Seaweed, Seawalt, whatever. Same thing. He's hitting the same exact spots Kimbrel's hitting, but now they're being called a strike. So I could see where Anthony was bringing that point up because, like I told Pat, I was like, I said, this ump got dinner reservations. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's trying to get out of there because, I mean, he called 2 horrible strikes on Brandon Marsh.
He did.
Horrible. So, I mean.
But like I said, it was going both ways, though, when Sir Anthony was up the other night.
Yeah, like I said it was bad on both sides.
Yeah, right.
Just leading up to that point. Once it got to that point, then it got real heavily favored against the Phillies.
But like I said, the home umpire, I don't know what he's seen. Like he said, 3 blind mice. However, though,
the one last night was crazy.
But you can make all the judgments all you want on the world because a home run's a home run, and for Kyle Schwarber, and then right after Bryce Harper come up and smoke one on the right. I mean, there was a bunch of free.
He tomahawked that one.
Yeah,
Harper, you go back and watch. That was a tomahawk. No pun intended to our Braves fans there, but well, maybe so.
Maybe something.
He tomahawked it.
Yeah, he definitely did. So I mean, again, they looked really, really solid last night. I mean, so Mike, as I was talking to Al while you're taking care of some business,
I had to file some paperwork. Sorry, people.
Yeah. So let me ask.
He was in the green room cutting up some video for you.
I mean, Mike, do you think it's over tomorrow?
Yeah.
I feel that way too.
I think you're going to see an offensive explosion tomorrow. I think it's going to get over. It's going to get ugly quick.
That's what I feel. I feel like I was just telling Al. I feel like with the crowd being so hot and being rowdy and all that stuff.
And just think about it for a second too. They get to celebrate. Not only they celebrated the wild card round at home, they celebrated the division series at home. Now they're getting the chance to close out the NLCS at home. And they got home field advantage if it all holds true to form, because Texas is going back to Houston tomorrow, or today, actually. Tonight, they play in Houston. So, like I said, that can wrap up tonight.
Yeah, so the rematch is there.
And the rematch is there. And now Houston, they don't have the best of 7. They got to come here. And
so, yeah, I did like a lot of research from last year's postseason to this one, and just again, there's some minor keys. Obviously, you had Brad Hand, you had a bunch of like I said,
that was Turner, Walt, not Stott.
Yeah,
that was Trey Turner.
But what I really like though in the offensive game plan is definitely the aggressive base running and aggressive base stealing. I mean, it has to put these starting pitchers their head on the swivel. And where they're constantly looking over their shoulder, and now with that crowd noise going to be really, really high. It's going to be a tough day at the office for Mel Kelly.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real tough day. And just one little hiccup with this Phillies offense, it starts to snowball.
But here's the thing, though, and I will play a little bit of devil's advocate. Arizona's starting to get some guys hot, too. Like Christian Walker, he's starting to get a little hot now. He had a couple hits last night. Marte still continuing to hit. He's got a hit in every postseason game. Their leadoff
That's
guy,
their best hitter.
Carroll starting to get above there. Moreno's been hitting for them. Gurriel's been starting to hit the bat, hit a little bit too. So, I mean, I'm not going to just write them off and
But the fact that we have Aaron Nola coming to the plate and the way he's been coming to the mound and the way he's been pitching
at home
should make you feel more comfortable.
And I am comfortable. I am, but it's just like I said, I'm not overlooking.
No, but
those guys.
you can't. But however, from the home experience on this postseason, I definitely.
I like the fact that the Phillies haven't lost here yet.
Lou, we'll get the blanket chip in a moment.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, Lou, we're going to talk about your favorite team coming up soon. We're going to be talking some Penn State football, so stay tuned, Lou.
Oh,
my man Lou is rocking that Penn State shirt on Friday. So, but yeah, like I said, though, Mike, this Phillies offense is starting to click. Like I said, I like the approach, the base stealing, the aggressive base running, all that. Where you got to keep this starting to hit Merle Kelly's head on the swivel. The crowd noise, like I said, I hear you about their offense can go off at any moment. But again, the crowd is intimidating. I think the Philly, again, this is where my dad told me back in the day, coming to Philly was a tough
place. Stop touching yourself, boy.
Well,
okay.
And stop touching yourself. And
Joe Sullivan brought up a good point.
Stop touching yourself, Pat?
No, with the Astros, them not being really good at home. I kind of agree with Joe. They were kind of, but I feel like they've kind of captured momentum in that series. Like, you don't go down to Texas and hit it. They took two out of three down there. So, I mean.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, though, I think Philly, though, is a tough place to play. And it's intimidating to these batters. Not just the pitching, but the batters. Because they're on you. The prior to start, you got that line up. You see, you guys warming up, the pitching warming up. The Philly fans on top of you, especially the Philly Cat. He hangs right there. That's like his bird nest. You know what I mean? He hangs right there. They're hackling you and all that stuff. So it's an intimidating place to come. And I like that.
Isn't that what this home field's supposed to be? I mean, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Phillies are really kind of saving baseball.
Well, then you said it was supposed to be. Yeah, it is. But, every other fan base, it's not like this one. This is intimidating.
I'm sorry, but, I've seen some sorry-looking fan bases in this postseason.
Oh, yeah.
You listen, the Diamondbacks I can kind of understand. Arizona baseball doesn't really jive.
Right.
But the Atlanta one, that was sad.
Yeah. Yeah. How cheap the tickets were to get down there?
I just think it's kind of, if you were in Chicago, definitely New York, Boston.
Yeah, the Northeast Commodore other than Chicago.
Boston's
probably more close to us than.
Yeah.
Look, dude, the Yankees, they were in the LCS last year. They couldn't even sell out their park.
That's ridiculous.
Remember, we came in there. Somebody told me to look up online. They were selling tickets for $21 for a playoff game.
That's why a lot of people don't want to hear. Philly is the most passionate fan base on the planet.
So, I look at it. They are, but it's definitely. I would put us and Boston kind of neck and neck, there for rabidness, but. I don't think, they're going to bring it.
I think Chicago has a pretty rapid.
Did Mike Yurich get fired?
Whatever, Yurich or how
Yurich. Did he get fired? Yeah, I hope so. I hope James Franklin goes with him.
We'll find out in a few moments.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll find out in a few moments. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think our buddy's going to want to talk to me after this.
Wait, we're getting an shut up. I don't know what that means.
Oh, that's my boy John checking in.
Okay, I was like,
John, I hope you feel better, dude.
I thought it was like a Braves.
He is my manager for wrestling. So when you see, that's Father Flanagan, aka John Linder. John, I love you, buddy. Get well soon.
I thought he was saying like he was a Braves fan telling us to shut up about.
No. John could care less about sports. He's just checking in to say what's up to me.
Gotcha.
So
I don't mind being told shut up. I wouldn't be upset about it. I'd be looking. Where's my wife at?
Oh man, but I don't know. I'm thinking we should definitely. I think it's going to wrap up. I think they'll be singing, dancing on our own. There'll be a lot of There'll be a lot of call outs.
Put $1 in a jar.
Yeah, I got to put $1 in a swear jar. Sorry about that, people.
Hey, you talk about me about the Lord's Day, and you're dropping F-bombs.
I
think the Lord would rather hear F-bombs than what comes out of
your mouth.
Or what goes into it. But Anyway,
I'm going to start crossing myself from here on out.
Just move. The lightning bolt that's on its way.
I'm going to have somebody come in and bless the Dasani.
Right?
The power of Christ compels you.
So let me ask you, Al, back home, does Nick Castellanos get a hot bat tomorrow? He plays better at home.
Well, I listen. I think they're all going to be juiced up. To be honest with you, they're ready to roll. Listen. Give the Philly fan base just. I feel like we say this all the time, but middle of the week, Arizona. It's not around the corner. It's not like it's Atlanta where you can get a 6-hour car ride in or a quick flight in. It's across the country. People just went and they sold out flights from Philly to Arizona. They bought tickets just for the sake of buying tickets, just to empty their stadium, keep it quiet, as they were referring to as hashtag Silent October. But yeah, it's so hard to say because anybody in this offense can go off at any point. But
how about Alec Bohm? Can I see him go off? Like Nicky Batts has had his time. Yeah, let it be. How about Alec Bohm and Bryson Stott?
Honestly, I wanted to see somebody get the charge going and then just pummel them in the ground in the last game. Like that's what I want. I'm not asking just for an easy win, but I'm asking for a statement win. Foot on the throat, say, listen, we let our guard down a couple times. We let you guys hang in here longer than it should have.
It's like, look, all right, you were nice. We played with you, but now you're getting to be annoying. Time to go.
You guys were adorable.
Your story was great. Time to end it.
Yeah. Thank you for knocking out the Dodgers. Yeah, you now must join them on the golf course.
Time to end you like Deliverance. See you later. Bye-bye.
So, I mean...
What's up, guys? Houston losing Abreu due to intentional throwing to Garcia going to hurt.
It's only 2 games.
175 ERA, 104 WHIP, 100 Ks. That kid was good.
What's up, Sean?
It's only for 2 games. Like, I'm sorry, but if Texas wins tonight, he misses tonight and tomorrow. So, I mean, I don't know.
Or if he's not going tonight, he misses game 1. I mean,
yeah, if they win,
he just would be playing on game 2. Like,
that's no loss. I mean, it might be a loss for them, but
it doesn't suck if it would throw your rotation off or whatever. Yeah, I get that. Are you ready?
Yeah, I texted you his number.
Oh, I have to call him. Oh, okay, I got you.
My fault.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't his. God.
Jesus.
Keep going.
But anywho, let's. Like I said, the Phillies offense though is just clicking on all cylinders.
So you're expecting to wrap them up?
Yeah, I just like you said. I just want to see what they've been doing, the top of the order, handling business, whether it be Schwarber, Turner, Harper, whoever. One of the 3 are going to get started. If not, like I said, I'd like to see Nick Castellanos get back to order. Like you said, Alec Bohm's been getting hits here and there. Bryson Stott needed that hit yesterday. He comes out the clutch RBI. Just like I said, keep things rolling. And then, of course, you have your utility players, Rojas. So, but anyway, listen, guys, we'll continue this Phillies conversation at a later time, maybe tomorrow, more likely. But right now on the lines is my man, Mike Bolger. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
How we doing?
Mike, what's going I was feeling good all up to about last night or yesterday afternoon because I saw you get it. It's almost like NWA wrestling where you see the big superstars taking care of business, and when they go up against another superstar, time to crumble. And that's how I feel about this Penn State team. I feel good going into Ohio State, and here we are again. Another year wasted, another year down the drain. The James Franklin regime 1-9 against Ohio State. Not good. So, Mike, tell me, what did you see from yesterday?
It was just absolutely brutal on the offensive side. Let's get one thing down straight here. Is that the defense, despite letting up like 365 yards, they had a heck of a day, right? Only 20 points on the road against Ohio State. That's an impressive stat line, right? And really, one of the touchdowns from Ohio State came against a couple wonky calls, and they almost had a scoop and score for a touchdown that really would have made this game go in Penn State's favor. So on the defensive side, Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator for Penn State, did a heck of a job. But it all comes to the offensive side, right? You got to put points on the board, and they just did 1 for 16 on 3rd down. I can't even explain how awful that is. And they came into the game second in the Big Ten in third down conversion. And to do that, they dropped now seventh in the Big Ten. So it was a huge just jump off. And then you look at the rushing attack. You have Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. You're on a total of 18 times with them throughout the game for 74 yards. And in total, they had 49 yards because of how many times Allen was sacked. And with college football, they actually count that into the rushing game. So just a complete offensive breakdown. It seemed like everybody was just nervous and rattled throughout the entire game. And that's just what that Ohio State team can do, and that's why they're so good at what they are, the number 3 team in the country.
Absolutely. Like I said, it was a tough day at the office for Penn State and Happy Valley. Again, just struggled in the red zone in the beginning.
Dude, they struggled all game. Like, let's call it what it is, man. I love you, Pat, but let's call this what this is, bro. It's the offensive coordinator. It's James Franklin. They don't do adjustments. They haven't been doing it for as long as James Franklin has been there. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mike. I don't mean to come off on this, but I am a longtime Penn State guy. I've been watching Penn State football since 1983, and this dude stinks as our head coach. He is a great recruiter, but he sucks. He does not make in-game adjustments. He's like one and forever against Ohio State. And to be honest with you, I'm a little sick and tired of seeing this dude coaching my favorite college football team. I think he needs to go. But instead, somebody up there at Happy Valley decided this dude needed a 10-year contract extension. For what reason, I have no idea. Well, sorry, man. I didn't mean to go off on that little rant, but I just wanted to apologize. But I had to get that off my chest.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, it's for that recruiting reason. And the fact that he makes everybody feel like, a 1-star coming into this, or excuse me, a 5-star coming into this. But yeah, when it comes down onto the field, the records do not lie. 1-9 now. It's Ohio State 0-5 on the road. So, and you just look at the entire time of when he's been there against ranked opponents.
Yeah, he's even worse against ranked opponents, right? Like ranked opponents, he's like 1 in 15 or something like that against ranked opponents. And I'm sorry, as a fan of this program, my biggest fear is that Drew Allard is going to get sick of this, and he's going to enter the transfer portal. You guys finally got a top-notch quarterback there in Happy Valley, and I got a feeling he's going to end up going to the SEC because of this coach.
Yeah, it's brutal, but I think Drew Allard has done something that I have not seen a young quarterback do in not quite some time, but it's definitely been a minute. He's taking accountability. Yesterday, after the media, he basically just came out and said, I sucked. And then Caden Saunders just said, I've never seen Allard like this. He's just completely blaming himself. He's accounting for himself. He's doing everything that a regular, mature quarterback would be doing right now. So for Allard's position, I think that he's getting it all on himself right now. And I think that's a huge, huge thing for Penn State because not only is that going to fuel his own fire, but yeah, it's trying to take some of the heat off of the coaching staff or some of the stuff that they've done. And I think that Allard just sees it from the position that, yeah, it's on me. I need to get better. I need to help this program.
Well, no, Mike,
that's going to help.
Mike Uric just got to help this kid out. Like, I'm sorry. The play calling yesterday, the razzle-dazzle plays, I mean, God, you want to see a simple way? I felt going into that game that Penn State had a better offense than Notre Dame. They had just as good an offense as Notre Dame. And Notre Dame pretty much put up, I mean, it took a last-second a defensive collapse or else they would have beaten Ohio State. And I feel like Penn State's I felt like their offense was just as good as Notre Dame's. I feel like Penn State got a better defense than Notre Dame. And all they had to do was study that tape. If they studied that tape, you would have seen how to attack them. Sam Hartman had a field day against them. You got to run the ball. When you have a fast defense like Ohio State, you do a lot of misdirection. And, between Allen and Singleton, you have the backs to counteract that. And this guy didn't do that. He left Allard out on an island. The receivers didn't help matters either. Didn't help matters much yesterday either because they couldn't get separation from off of these Ohio State DBs.
Absolutely, and the other thing too is that when you look back at the board, Theo Johnson, 2 receptions. Tyler Warren, 1 reception. The fact that the tight ends got only 3 receptions off of 18 total on the day was pretty shocking to me, especially of how good they've been up until this point. Everybody complained after West Virginia that tight end game was just absolutely non-existent, and now it's non-existent here again.
Yeah,
And
but
running
this time,
backs were not
it came back to bite them in the you-know-what yesterday. And I had kind of had an issue. I watched James Franklin's press conference, and I couldn't even get through the whole thing because of, like, a guy asked him a pretty solid question about where he thinks about, where this program's going, and the guy doesn't want to get into it. Like, is he really put himself that much up on a perch out there in Happy Valley? Because anybody that I talk to that's locally here on this side of the state does not like James Franklin. I even know people that live on the opposite side of the state, too, that live out in the Pittsburgh area that are Penn State fans. They want this guy gone. So I don't understand what is the lure of him. I mean, other than he is a decent recruiter. He's a decent recruiter. He gets people to go there. But, I mean, as a football coach, man, this guy, how much longer as Penn State fans do we got to know going in every year we're going to lose to Michigan and Ohio State no matter where it's at?
Well, starting off with that, as a previous fan, I saw that angle too, right? I saw that James Franklin and win the big games. I don't know why he was here. As a reporter, as I'm going into press conferences, seeing everything like that, the way this guy sways his team, motivates his team, everything else like that, it's off paper, it's extremely impressive to see. But yes, actually, absolutely on paper, it's been totally brutal for this program. And to be honest with you, he's not going anywhere. I mean, that contract's been signed, Penn State signed it, and they wrote down that, hey, we're going to trust this guy for the next 10 so years, and that's going to be the final part of it, right?
Yeah, I know. Plus, it's just, I was kind of, we can all dream.
But yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
So my question too is like I said, the defense looked good, but however, Colin McCord, I mean, 286 yards. Again, find guys across the middle, cross routes. However, I mean, guys getting in spacing, and even James Franklin said himself in the press room. I watched the press conference, and he said himself. He said, "We just couldn't get no pressure. We just couldn't get no spacing, no nothing." So, I mean, I don't know if there's got to be something with him and his coaching staff that they need to figure it out together. And like I said, these big schools, again, the first person that gets blamed just because of his regime is James Franklin. Regardless whether it's offensive corner, defensive corner, he's going to be the first one to get blamed because obviously he runs the ship. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, what could have done better in yesterday's game in your eyes?
Well, just starting on that defensive side, yeah, they only had 2 sacks on the day. And while those 2 sacks were very, very important, I mean, it just came at times where Penn State needed something else to keep that offense, give them life or something, and they just couldn't come up with it, especially the secondary. The secondary absolutely just got picked apart. Kalen King had by far his worst game of his career, and Johnny Dixon did his best trying to, stay in his own element. I want to give props to Daquan Hardy. He had a heck of a day. He had, four pass breakups and stuff like that. That was almost a program record. So he had an amazing day. Caps off to him. But everybody else, yeah, it was just completely brutal to keep up with this Ohio State team. They did hold them to 80 yards rushing, which is the test of stat line. But after that one drive of where the scoop and score happened and then we got brought back and it was
yeah, that was a horrible call.
It was just completely demoralizing.
That was the most horrible call. That was a horrible call. That was a home cook call. I don't care what anybody says. Like, that had nothing to do with the play. And a few plays later, they called, again, I believe it was on Dixon, they called the pass interference when he was going for the ball. Like, I feel like at these times now, like, these referees forget that a defensive back has a right to the ball as well. And he was going for the ball, and Harrison bumped into him, and they threw a defensive pass interference on him. So, to me, there was a little home cooking there at the shoe yesterday. But again, Penn State, to me, like you said it best, Mike. Their offense was just anemic yesterday. They didn't attack with the tight ends. They didn't attack with their best players. I mean, I saw some sets where Singleton and Lee were in the game at the same time, and they weren't like, I would put Singleton out, and have him matched up on a backer. You put him on a backer, he's going to win that battle all day long.
Yeah, and it's been a huge thing that the running backs have been able to get involved in the passing game. And again, they were just non-existent. Nicholas Singleton, 1 reception for 6 yards off of 2 targets. De'Tron Allen, 1 reception off of 3 targets. Right.
Yeah.
So, and those are both lows on the season. Yeah, no, Allen just couldn't find them, and they couldn't get them out.
And it seemed like every time they tried to run, it seemed like Penn State was telegraphing what they were doing, because when either Singleton or Allen, I mean, except for the one drive, Singleton kind of got off a little bit on the one drive. He kind of was picking up some chunks, but other than that, they were maintaining them guys. It seemed like Ohio State knew when they were going to run the ball. Like, to me, like,
yeah,
it was like almost like they were telegraphing when they were going to run. And, again, it stings because it's Ohio State and I can't stand Ohio State. But I just know now, I mean, I understand Franklin's going to be in the building. But this dude, he's got to start. Somebody's got to rattle this dude's cage and let him know, like, dude, he doesn't make any game. He never makes adjustments. Never. And it's going to come back. And the only saving grace I can say is after this year, the playoffs go to an 8-team format. So if the Penn State can finish within the top 8, he'll start making the playoffs. I was just hoping that this year would be a year that they could make the playoffs, but it's going to be very hard for them to make a playoff this year. Not with them losing to Ohio State.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, Michigan and Beaver Stadium can always happen.
Yeah, definitely. But look, Mike, I want to say thank you so much for hopping on with us, taking the time out of your busy day to hop on.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, I definitely appreciate it. Guys, follow Mike on Twitter. As you see, he is the corner. He does a lot. I could say the Penn State insider. He does a lot of.
He's
work
our Penn State insider.
He does a lot of work up there in Happy Valley. A great guy to follow. Please give him a shout. Mike, I can't look towards to hang out with you. Can't wait for you and I hang out back in the press box, talking some lacrosse. Maybe we'll get up there some for Penn State hockey, because that sounds like it's a good thing going on there. 4-1. So, Mike, thank you so much, and let's go.
Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely appreciate you guys. See you.
See you, buddy.
Take it easy.
That was Mike, man. And
I'm sorry, because I feel bad, because every time he comes on, I got to lambaste him about James Franklin. But I'm sorry, this guy.
Dude, I can see it was on your chest there. You cut me right off.
I'm sorry, and I apologize for that, Pat. But it was boiling. It was boiling.
I can see
it was like coming up because
not only your shirt is green, but you came out like the Hulk on that one.
I had to. I mean, not on Mike, but Jesus God, dude. Like, anybody who watches Penn State football knows that this guy's a buffoon. He's an idiot. He is a straight idiot. Like, he makes no adjustments. I don't want to say that to Mike, because Mike's got to go and cover the guy. And I don't want to insult what Mike has to do.
No, Mike, real quick, guys, I want to remind you that this is brought to you by Sherry'sTickets.com. Sherry's Tickets, always bringing you the best tickets in town. No matter what town you live in, go to Sherry'sTickets.com. Sports, concert, theater, you name it, they got it. And use the great promo code
EOP10
to save 10% off at Sherry'sTickets.com. Again, EOP10 to save 10% off. They're already great prices. No hidden fees. You know it. You see it on the screen. There's no bamboozling at checkout. Go to Sherry'sTickets.com and use that promo code
EOP10
often. Real quick, before we move on, I want to hit some of these, because you guys are doing the interview. There's a couple guys saying things, and I want to give them a chance to say, get their piece out about Penn State here.
Oh, nice.
Anthony, PSU should have won that game if PSU had an offense.
If they had Luke Fickell as a head coach, they blow out Ohio State by 30.
Ray Finkel?
No, Luke Fickell.
That was my favorite.
Jeremiah says, don't matter, Philly fans, Astros year again. Okay, Jeremiah, check back in with us in about a month.
Better let the Astros win.
You weren't even a better team this year. We beat you 2 out of 3 in your house.
Thanks.
Anthony's saying James Franklin is not calling plays. Is it Yukich or Yurkich? I saw
Yurkich.
Okay. I don't blame Franklin. Also to when PSU was blitzing and getting to the quarterback, they were fine, but the second half PSU just got lazy and slow.
No, they didn't get lazy and slow. Their defense was on the field for 40 minutes.
And the offense adjusted. Ohio State's not going to sit there and let them just keep beating them up.
Like,
a good coach.
And I'm sorry, James Franklin, the offense does run through him. That's what's so funny. If Penn State
what's up, my man?
Ian says, if Penn State doesn't beat Michigan by 30 to save Franklin's job, If not, he should not
job
lose
no matter what.
Ian, I agree with you, but apparently we just talked to Mike.
Yeah.
You know,
He's
Jeremiah said, like the stream boys. Thank you very much, Jeremiah, for checking in.
Thanks, buddy.
Check back in. Time to hire Georgia OC. Listen, I felt like they should have hired Luke Fickell a year ago. Now Luke Fickell's out in Wisconsin. I was clamoring for them.
Mike's fickled about Luke.
Yes.
Not being.
Stop saying Fickle. I keep on thinking about Ray Fickle, my favorite player. Laces out.
Fickled.
Oh, I like being fickled.
Anthony said I would fire Jukic because the offense has sputtered. Everyone loves to blame Franklin. I blame Franklin because before it was Juric, it was somebody else. It's sooner or later when you get rid of everybody else and put the blame on everybody, because it was the other offensive coordinator before Juric. It was the defensive coordinator before that. Sooner or later, dude, it's got to come back to you. He's the head coach. So just like Sirianni, if Sirianni sees that Brian Johnson's doing something and it's not working, it's his job to go, dude, we need to make these corrections. He doesn't do that. So yes, I will continue to blame him. It doesn't matter that this guy is the OC. If Pat was the OC and I'm the head coach and Pat's doing something that isn't working like that, I would go to him and say, stupid, we got to do this.
Hi.
See? He answers right away. But so I ain't worried about that.
Squirrel.
Take the wheel, Jesus.
And listen, also, heavy is the head that wears the crown, is the old saying. And
yes,
when you're the head coach, I mean, if Nick Sirianni and the Eagles are Brian Johnson struggles, guess what?
Nick Sirianni takes over.
He's going to have to take the blame because it's his guy.
Right.
His guy.
And I do agree with this one, Anthony. There was home cooking for Ohio State yesterday. That fumble 6 that was returned, they called that bullshit. And I'm sorry, I'm using a curse word. Yes, it was bullshit. They called a bullshit hold on Penn State, and it shouldn't have been called. So that right there let me know right there that they weren't winning that game.
No.
And then they got home cooking to go right down the field, and they put up a touchdown. So that right there was a 14-point spring. It went from Penn State being up by 7 to now trailing by 7. So
yeah, well, like I said, though.
All right, I got that out of my
saying
system.
Never bet on Penn State against Ohio. The NCAA makes sure you don't make money.
That's my son checking in.
Oh, hi, Evan.
Saying 12-team format. Now, you guys hate Michigan, but with the sign stealing, it could be enough of a distraction for PSU to do something against Michigan. Still have McCarthy to deal with.
Oh, listen, I think Michigan's probably going to – Penn State's probably going to be so disheartened by that game by the time they get there. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll get up for Michigan. I'm hoping it's a better game than it was a year ago. Like, Michigan just curb stomped the hell out of us. So,
yeah, but anyway, I don't know how much you guys were here in studio. I don't know how much you saw of the orange and black.
Not one thing, because we were here watching the Phillies.
Yeah.
Well, the Flyers.
But we did see they scored 3 shorthanded goals last night, so it was good to see.
Incredible.
And the article from Austin will be up.
There you go.
It's going to be up on the site in a few, and it's going to be up on social media around lunchtime.
So there was no Carter Hart last night. It was pretty much, I want to call it the backup goalie situation, because Sam Harrison was playing in that, just getting a little bit of rustle of him, hasn't played since preseason, because the Flyers have Vegas coming up on Tuesday night. So he got some reps yesterday. He led some goals, but then he started to settle down, started to zone in, and he took care of some business. The Flyers, though, there is no quit in this team. In the line of Farabee and Bobby Brink is really good. They were bringing tons of offensive pressure. They were finding the back of the net. Looked really, really good. And again, Mike, you just mentioned the shorthanded goals. Travis Konechny with a pair of goals.
On fire.
On fire with his shorthanded goals. Again, breakaway. There were signs that he
got that last year, though, too. Didn't the Flyers have like the most, or was it the year before? Like, we had the most shorthanded goals in the whole league.
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah, even though they were struggling for the most of the whole year, they still had plenty of shorthanded goals.
So again, the Travis Sanhei play, the Travis Konechny was really, really spot. I didn't think Travis Sanhei had some of these moves. But of course, he makes a move, makes a back pass, finds Travis Konechny on the wing, passes to him. He finds the back of the net. Dallas' first overall draft pick, lights up the lamp. What the hell's that kid's name? I couldn't pronounce it, but I don't want to butcher it because I'm pretty
That's
bad.
the best part about covering any hockey.
Yeah.
Is trying to pronounce a name.
Yeah, so, but anyway, I mean, Bobby Brick, though, a great upgrade to this Flyers team because he was hanging around the net, and any kind of rebound, any kind of redeflect, he would find the back of net and made the Dallas Stars pay. Now, Dallas Stars went up 4-2, and I'm thinking late in the third, I'm thinking this game's over. And however, it didn't. Like, Travis Konechny, Sam Walker, again,
Sean Walker.
Sean Walker, this kid, back-to-back goals in 2 games, really doing a solid job. Again, you're hanging out with a Dallas Star team, so they go into overtime, and that's where Dallas Stars win it. But however, like you said, Mike, we're talking about Travis Konechny being on fire. 5 goals, all of them on the road. Mike, I mean, did you catch any of the highlights?
I've seen some of the highlights. I'll tell you what, the Taylor Seguin goal to put them up 2-0 was a nice one. Taylor Seguin to put Dallas up. You got to remember too, Dallas is a really, really good team.
They are. They got BJ. They got the veteran player BJ Penn. Again, they are beating the 2-1 attack. But
who?
BJ Penn.
Oh, Jamie Penn. You mean
Jamie Penn? I'm sorry. BJ Penn's the UFC fighter. I'm sorry.
Isn't it Jamie Benn?
Jamie Benn. Yeah.
Yeah. BENN.
I saw Konechny and Farabee's goals. The kid you were talking about, they got the goal is Rupert Hintz.
Rupert Hintz, yeah.
Yeah, Rupert Hintz. Jamie Benn, the aforementioned, he started the third period off. And then old guy, Joe Pavelski's the one who got the game winner.
Joe Pavelski, yes.
So, I mean, listen, they get a point out of it, and it's a game in Dallas against a very good Dallas Stars team. I mean, they're probably one of the contenders, I would say, for the Western Conference for the Stanley Cup.
Right, and
early
on. Dallas went with their backup goaltender because on Tuesday themselves, they're heading out to Pittsburgh. They're heading out to the Igloo, so they're getting themselves ready for that. So, but I mean, again, I know it's Oktoberfest for the Flyers. This is where they look good. November is when the bridge falls apart. I mean, you still got to feel pretty good.
Pretty much November through April. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, again, I'm waiting for that other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for for all to go bad. But for what I'm seeing now, the small sample size,
maybe it won't.
Maybe it won't. Like I said, I'm calling for it.
Let's be a little more optimistic. I say,
yes.
Because there's going to be so many. I don't think Carter Hart's going to be here. I don't. I think he's going to be traded. I think that's why they've been showcasing him a lot.
And that's why you and I talked about.
How about Konechny?
Ooh,
that's kind of up in the air.
You think he's just on fire?
Yeah, I think so.
Or do you think guys like him who have a solid feeling to think they may or may not either be in their prime or be around for?
Well, you got to start building somewhere.
Yeah, no, I mean you can't get rid of everybody.
You can't get rid of everybody. So if I'm going to start, I'm going to keep a guy like TK around.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to start. Like I said, you got to start somewhere. And I don't know.
Like I said,
the whole thing's really kind of hindering really with Carter Hart. I mean, now the whole NHL knows that he was a part of that Canadian under 18 scandal.
Yeah.
So he's a part of that. So I guess me and Matty P were talking about that last night, and they're saying they're waiting for the NHL's already did the investigation. They're just waiting to come out. So. But they're probably trying to get rid of them before they can.
I see 2 things can happen though with the Flyers. I see one, like you said, these guys like the Konechnys of the world and Carter Hart are performing to get traded elsewhere, whatever, etc. So Flyers get more bang for their buck as far as a trade. However, I think to look on the flip side of it though, I think these guys, like Danny Briere said, we'll see where we're at come trade deadline. If we're going to be sellers and buyers. Now, what if they're the happy middle? If they're
in a happy middle?
Let me ask you: if they're humming around that 8th seed spot, should they just keep those guys? Should they become buyers?
No. The only way is if you're like, I would say you'd have to be like 6th seed and up. Then you're a buyer. If you're not the 6th seed or up, if you're hanging around 7th or 8th seed, no, you don't. No.
For what this team was.
No, you don't. Because if you're going to be that, what can you go out and acquire right now that's going to get you over the hump?
Right.
They're still a young team. So, no, I would just
would you keep the core? I mean, for what you have. Or are you just going to tank it? I mean, playing red hot, they're just say like I said, they're going to
listen. If they're around a playoff spot, they're not going to be picking high. Right. So, again, like I said, I think
they just stay the core.
I think they just stay the course. I mean, listen, it's going to fall where it may. Knowing the Flyers and then the luck that the Flyers have, okay, they're going to be a pretty competitive team this year. Like it'll be something that'll come out of nowhere. Maybe they just might miss the playoffs, but they'll be around that 9 to 15 mark or 9 to 12 mark in the NHL draft, where they're not going to they'll get a decent player, but they won't get one of the top-notch players. I mean,
so you want to be a definite shoo-in for the Flyers in order for the Flyers to keep their course.
Yeah. They have to be, for me, they would have to be the number 6 seed or higher for me to go be a buyer. Right. Other than that, dude, you got to be a seller. But you got to keep a piece around. You can't just get rid of all your players and say, oh, well, we're just going to be young, because you have to fill your building.
But I just want to be young.
Yeah, you have to fill your building. You have to give your fan base some type of hope and some type of reason to come down to your building. If not, you will get what you had in April, when it'll just be a destination for other teams to bring their fans to come into.
Yeah, remember the Rangers.
Yeah, but I mean,
like even all 12 Devils fans will come down.
I feel like you have to pick your poison out. Do you want to rebuild?
But they've already told you what they're going to do. They already said they are taking their time. They are ripping it down to rebuild. So there is no.
Then you have to get rid of Konechny and
no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. See, this is where you're wrong on this.
Why am I wrong?
Why are you wrong? Because you need a centerpiece.
Where do we begin?
Yeah. You need a centerpiece.
Okay.
He's your centerpiece.
But if you get a package deal and you're trying to get
it's got to be an overwhelming offer for Travis Konechny. Now, if they get an overwhelming offer, then yes, then you make somebody else your new centerpiece. But right now, he's their best centerpiece that they have. That's what you got to build around. That's how you can come up. You build around your centerpiece and you make it into a core. Then from the core, you work your way out. I see what they're doing. You just want to get rid of everybody just to get rid of them.
No, I didn't say that. I said, quite frankly, what Dan Briere said. If they are in the playoff, well, they are going to keep the team. They're going to be buyers and sellers. The team will speak for itself. Where these guys want to be. And I don't know if Travis Konechny wants to go through a rebuild. He doesn't, you only got so many years on your
these guys are paid under contract. They don't care. Like, you make it seem like these guys want to they don't want to stay here because you got to go through a rebuild. Dude, a rebuild between the right mix of free agents and the right mix of young talent, you could be in the Stanley Cup within 3 years.
I mean, Carter Hart is still a young guy. Even if this takes 5 years, he's going to be still on this side
prime of his life.
20 in the late 20s. So, yeah.
I get it. Goaltenders only get better as they age. I get all that.
It's not even just to get better as they age. He's young. He's be like 28, 29 years old in 4 or 5 years. I mean, so there is. Listen, right now there's an up and down everything. Right, the down part in what we were referring to as a rebuild is, it's a rebuild. It's not fun. Go back to the Sixers and the tank and all that
because it's not guaranteed payoff.
It's not fun.
We should be able to get into some good Flyers games this year.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it.
But the other thing is, I do enjoy when you enjoy the sport. You can enjoy watching young guys like Brink, for instance. There's a young guy you get to watch and grow. But you still, like you said, you need some pieces. So if they do turn that corner in the next, say, 3 years, you need a good veteran goalie, a good veteran presence in Konechny and all those guys. So like that's why and time is still on your side.
Like a guy, a good trade chip piece, believe it or not, a good trade piece for the Flyers would be a guy like Couturier. He's a defensive forward. That's what you need for the playoffs. Leadership roles. Like, he would be a guy, if you're looking to move, you move on from him. Stahl. Was it Mark Stahl that they signed? Mark Stahl. He's a senior defenseman. You move on from him. You send him somewhere where he can give him a chance to go win a ring. Those like that will bring you stuff back. Not major stuff, but it'll get you stuff that you need to get back. Carter Hart's going to get you a haul if you move him.
Right. Let me.
That's where you go in and say, I want this one, that one, and your first round pick, and you're going to give me that.
Yeah. So let me ask you: if the Flyers are humming around at 8 seed, what are you doing as Danny Briere?
You mean if they're making the playoffs?
If they're making the playoffs, or do you have to be like with Mike? Disagree with Mike. Do you have to feel that you have to be a 6th seed and up to make it, or if you're just hum around 7th and 8th seed, are you going to stay the course and just rebuild?
I mean, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Like, you're going to go in the playoffs if you're in the 8th seed.
Correct.
Are you asking, do you tank and make sure you don't go into the 8th seed?
Is 8th seed not good enough for you?
No. Listen, no. 8th seed's not good enough for anybody. But getting young guys playoff experience in the NHL is a plus.
Yes.
This team has not tanking per se. They're not trying to lose. Like last year or the year before even, I felt like they were trying to lose a lot more than they are this year. They're trying to give these guys a real chance to see if they have something with what they have already. And in the next year or two, by adding more young players or talent from around the league, they're hoping to grow this. So I say you play it out and see where it lies.
Right.
I'm not sitting there going, oh, we might get in on the AC. All right, we got to lose the next 5 games.
No, and that's where I feel. I feel like if you're the 8th seed, I don't think. I mean, like Mike said, if you can. Do you move from a Couturier and see what you can get, or do you?
Again, I agree with Mike in the sense is I'm only listening to like some blockbuster offers.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not giving away for a bag of balls or
a bag of pucks, or
yeah. I'm not doing an even trade. It should be very Flyer friendly.
Okay,
all right, and that's when you move on from them because here's the thing: is if you lose him, you got to be making sure you're getting a lot back in return to move up, to improve.
The whole thing in trading a star player or a star goaltender somewhere is to make sure that you get enough back that where what you're getting back is going to help your nucleus that you are growing. You know what I'm saying? So trading a 1-for-1 is not going to make your nucleus grow. If you're getting rid of one headache for another headache, that's not going to make your nucleus go. I'm pretty sure somewhere in the line today, somewhere down the line in this offseason, they sat down with Konechny and said, listen, dude, we want to build it around you.
Oh, yeah, behind closed doors, that's the conversation. So my man Steve checking in goes, I switched last night between the Flyers and Phillies to get my blood pressure down. Coos took a chance in OT and it didn't work out. And look, and it happened. So, but look, Steve, I'm happy from what I'm seeing from the team. Like I said,
hold on 1 second. I want to before I cut you, I want to cut you off, but there's a couple other comments for the Flyers before we move.
Good.
Matty Beach chiming in. Flyers are 4-12 in OT over the last 2 seasons.
Yikes.
A tie is a loss, people. I get what he's saying, but it's a point system.
It's a point system. So no, it's not like you.
It's not.
You gain a point.
It's not what you want, but ultimately,
it's kissing your sister, Matt. It's like kissing your sister.
You're still gaining a point or splitting a points or whatever. Sorry, 3-13. He said
it's like kissing your sister.
I don't think there's another shoe this year. Provy and Hayes aren't here to bring everyone else down.
Good point.
That's that's a good point. I mean, and I'm not sitting here trying to blame Hayes and Provy. It just wasn't working out.
All right.
Listen,
sometimes it wasn't. Doesn't work out.
They weren't fitting John Tortorella's playbook, and plus, you've heard the backstage battles between Hayes and Torts. So that could have led to the all season moves. So
didn't you say the Flyers are going to be trash this year? I mean, guys, it's still October.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's still a lot of hockey.
They still can be trash. I mean, I'm not saying
it's the same.
November hasn't come around yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you right, exactly. Didn't they? We saw this playbook last year, right?
Yeah, we've seen.
Remember
it for
that?
The past 3 years. I think the rip is down.
The rip it down comment was expectation management.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see. Like I said, we'll see what happens. But look, I feel I didn't want to be that guy. Like I said, seeing ex-Flyers come in here, but I definitely feel better with these guys than I do about
Maddie. I'm talking about current roster, Maddie. Talking about current roster. Of course, Gunther and Mitchkov are the future.
Right.
I think almost anybody on this team is tradable. I feel like there's nobody who's truly.
I keep forgetting about Atkinson.
And Atkinson had a good game the other day.
I know. I keep forgetting about him because he was banged up last year. I keep forgetting about Cam Atkinson.
And that too, Matt.
That's Maddie's thing. He says they're all tradable. If Maddie had his way, he'd trade everybody.
But that's my thing. There's no reason to do it now.
Maddie would trade Gritty for a pound of hot dogs.
Oh, But
I
we'll
think Pat already did that.
look, man, we'll continue the Flyers conversation. I definitely want to talk some birds. Big game, prime time, Eagles, Dolphins. Al, how are you feeling after this bounce back loss for the first time? Both teams 5-1, heading to the link.
What's a bounce back loss?
Well, bounce back, trying to get a W. Mike,
I had myself a nice bounce. Losing really picked me up the other day.
Listen, I think we're all a little punch drunk, I guess, this morning because, like, when I got up this morning, my mouth and hold on, let me see. I can't even. My mouth and tongue right now wouldn't.
Anthony with a comment today. Maddie would trade Laura.
Wow.
Oh wow.
I love it. Listen, this is going to be a game, and I know it sounds like all right.
Why do you think they signed Julio Jones?
Yeah, I mean,
this is going to be a shootout. Like this game's going over 60 points tonight.
They signed, between Quez going down and trying to. I'm not saying match speed, but match a good wide receiver out there, and it's good. I feel it's going to be a shootout too. This is a game unless the over is like 110 points, and even then you're probably not pushing it too much. But
I'd like to see. You know what I'd like to see? I'm pretty sure a lot of Eagles fans would have a heart attack. But you remember that Kansas City Rams game a few years ago on Monday night? It was like 59-51.
Yeah.
I would love to see something like that, but just have the Eagles come out on top.
So, Wayne, if you want to, all right. So, guys, just so you know, a little programming update here at EOP. This is pretty much your
Eagles pregame
right here. There will be a post-game show tonight, hosted by a certain Pat Bernard.
Hi,
Austin. Hammer will also be joining him, as well as Joey Marks.
The Hammer.
The Hammer will be joining tonight as well. So those three guys will be on. There will be no halftime show this week, but I think you guys will survive without one. I think you guys have seen us enough, put it that way.
Yeah, we need a break.
Can we run the ball tonight? Wayne, it's funny you say that, kind of answer Pat's question a little bit here. I think that's what the Eagles have to do, and they have to control that clock. You got to keep the ball out of their hands. You got to keep the ball out of Tua's hands. You got to keep the ball out of the air for the track team to go down and get it, because that's what they are. I mean, no A-chain, which is a plus because that's one less track star off. But Mostert can score.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Bad back.
The Jets came at Jalen Hurts pretty good, even though they lost Lane Johnson. Do you think there's now tape on how to get to Hurts? Or you think, that's it with because like I said, the Dolphins are a pretty good offensive team.
Dolphins got a pretty good defense, too. Their defense isn't as good as the Jets' defense. So I don't think they're going to be – they can't replicate what the Jets did. And to be honest with you, what the Jets did, they caught lightning in a bottle. Like, Jalen literally had his worst game in 2 years. And it was more self-inflicted, I believe, than what they did. Because he missed wide-open guys.
Well, I think
you watched all 22. There was guys wide open. He just missed them.
I think they made Jalen kind of fall back on bad habits, which hurt him before coming into last season.
Yep.
Which was, hey, listen, that's what your defense is supposed to do. They knew that they press him right. He will telegraph. Somebody's porn just came on.
Oh, hello.
But.
Slopping skins over here. Didn't mean that to happen. I was looking at something else.
MrSkin.com.
I was looking at pigskin. It was the wrong pigskin.
Yeah. Oh God. Train rails.
Yeah.
Nowhere near each other.
Let's bring it back.
Like I said, I think the Jets defense did what they're supposed to. They kept him. They forced him to do things that he doesn't do well, and he telegraphed He telegraphed it again. What the hell is going on over there? And that's what happened. And take the good from the bad. You want to call it a bounce back loss? I'll give you an actual. Let's use the term bounce back loss. Maybe it's a kind of a blessing in disguise that they lost the Jets. Kind of made them humble themselves, humble them a little bit, do a little self-reflection in this sense, and we'll game plan a little better against the Dolphins. And hold on one second. I don't want to sound like a homer or anything because this is not a homer thing. A lot of people think this is going to be an absolute routing. Like the Dolphins are just this team that doesn't get, this just kills people. I mean, they have a loss on their record too. They lost to a divisional rival, and they it wasn't a good game. It wasn't a close game. It wasn't like a shootout where they lost in the shootout.
They got smoked.
They got smoked. And the Bills have a decent defense too. I mean, but
I think the Eagles' defense is better than the Bills.
And they
Bills can't stop nobody on the ground.
And they have injuries coming out the wazoo to deal with. So, I mean, yeah. I mean,
looking at like I said, from last week, what I saw, and I thought the play calling was horrible. As you know, most of these games, I just thought the play calling could have been better. But then again, I mean, Jalen Hurts was scrambled for his life, especially when his number one guy goes down. The heart and soul of that offensive line goes down. There's trouble. There was big, and Driscoll, and like Dobbs was saying last week on the post game, Driscoll's got to go.
For what? I mean, why? The dude came off. He was serviceable last week. Did he get beat on a couple plays? Yes, he did. All right, but the guy that was lining up across from him is an All-Pro.
It's not even just that.
Like,
remember, it came in cold, and
like real quick,
and
people want to jump.
He also Suapeta next to him. It's not Cam Jurgens. It's not Landon Dickerson. So just like when Cam came in, the first couple games he looked rookie-ish. Had his moments. You could see that he wasn't on the same page as Lane, and that's how guys got past him.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't blaming Lane for it. I wasn't, Cam was making some mistakes. I think if Jack Driscoll had to play, having him a whole week to work with the ones and next to a pet, I would have been a little bit of a different story.
Like, you're going to see a difference. But luckily, we won't have to because Lane's going to play.
Yeah.
So, but.
And thank God that injury didn't wasn't worse. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man.
Because it looked scary for a moment.
We did lose but listen, the numbers are the numbers, and we know what it looks like when Lane is in versus when Lane is in. So.
Well, what's the record again when he's not on the field?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but it's staggering.
I think it's like 13-27, or I believe.
It's definitely like double losses to wins and the ratio. But Anthony's saying, let's get to some of the comments real quick. The only thing worry about is Jalen Hurts making good reads instead of keying on AJ Brown. Hurts needs to spread the ball around. Agreed. But
today's the day.
But when he started kind of having his come out in 2021 towards 2022, his safety blanket was Dallas Goedert. I mean, guys get like that. So I agree with that. I think spreading the ball is key. What was that, Mike?
Talk about a forgotten man in this offense.
Who?
Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And, like, Schmitty's been the forgotten guy the last couple weeks. San Diego says Eagles win 31-35.
35-31.
35-31.
Steven saying, absolutely tape on how to get to Hurts, always has been, then you run. And I go back to the run, not just for Hurts.
Can we get Rashad Penny in here?
Well, I'm just talking about slowing this. We saw it against the Rams. You had two prolific wide receivers in the Rams, and by running the ball, you kept the ball out of the LA's hands, and you controlled the time and all that. So if there's not enough time on the clock, you can't score 50 points.
Right.
And let's be honest, it was Denver. We just point that out.
Well, that's like I said. The one thing about the Jets, though, they had they were all banged up in their secondary. We didn't expect the guys from Wawa just to play well. I mean, you got to remember those guys are just fighting for a job. They're trying to get a starting role. So they're trying to audition. All those things, all those intangibles come in with that Jets secondary, and they were very, very good. Again, and caught this Eagles team just by surprise.
The reason they were so good is because the Eagles receivers helped them. Like, come on, how often you see Devontae Smith dropping wide? He dropped 3 wide open passes on Sunday. Come on. Again, it was a farce, dude. It was a farce. Just like the Jets beat the Bills on opening night, it's a farce. All right, Salah had them ready. The defense played well. But you know what? The Eagles beat themselves just as much as the Jets beat them. Like, what did the Jets offense do?
Not much.
Nothing. The only touchdown they scored is the one we let them. So I'm not. This is a game that you just got to look. You got to flush it. You got to flush it. And the main part, the main thing that has me feeling really, really confident about this game was they kicked Sirianni out of the locker room. And the players had their own meeting.
Did they kick him out, or did he just let them?
No. They told him he walked in. They said, "Nick, get out."
Well, and I like that. And it wasn't like, "Oh, Nick, you're the problem. Get out." Like it was.
Right.
There's nothing there. There's no need for rah-rah.
Right.
Because let's be honest, that's what Nick would do. At the same time, and there's no need, and we need to talk amongst ourselves. We need to have like it's like listen, our parents are having a really bad week, and the siblings are just being jackasses. We need to grab each other and say, you need to knock this off, and you need to knock this off. We need to get our heads out of our asses, and we need to do this. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And listen, another reason I think this game is going to be,
You did, but you never know. We might get back to it.
You might get back to it.
There's plenty of baseball talk throughout the network. Trust me, you.
But no, looking at this game coming up tonight too, you don't think he don't have this game circled? He's going against Tua.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think he's not really going to? You're going to see probably his best game tonight. You're going to whatever Jalen Hurts has you're going to get his best tonight because he knows the guy on the other side of the field is the guy who took his job in college. You don't think he wants to show him, okay, you may have taken my job in college, but I just beat you head to head in the pros.
Well, like you said, Mike, that's going to be lingering some. Again, that's a revenge factor on him. That's going to come in handy. But, Mike, let me ask you, it's going to be nighttime. I doubt you're going to have dinner at 8 o'clock at night, unless you're me. What is the meal? Are you going dessert? What's a good dessert?
I can't say it on the air. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure I'll have a snack or something like that leading up to the game. I don't know.
You're not an ice cream guy?
I am, but I used to work for an ice cream company, dude. So, yeah. Kind of, it's okay. But
that would make me more of an ice cream guy, believe it or not.
So many flavors.
Real quick before we keep going on here, Steve says to me, Lane's ankle barely rotated. I thought people had the panic button. Steve, I get it. And when you slowed it down, but the point is, next to Jalen Hurts, he's the next guy you don't want to lose on the team because there's a huge drop-off. I love A.J. Brown, but you still got a couple good wide receivers to pick up the pace. You still have the defensive linemen, defensive ends to rotate in. The back, we see how that's already kind of thin as it is, but they lost a lot. So, yeah, I mean, you have to be a little panicky at that moment. Speaking of, I don't know if anybody – this kind of flew under the radar a little bit, but Josiah Scott's an Eagle again.
Yes. And you know what? And I think that speaks volumes too.
Wow.
What does Driscoll and Penn State O-line have in common? They both can't block.
Wow. So, but look,
that's coming full circle on the show here.
So let me ask you guys quick. Guys, obviously you guys got your Kelly Greens on. Who was the first person you fell in love with rocking the Kelly Green? The first player.
Wes Hopkins.
Sounds a little cop out, but I'll tell you why. It was because I was fed this as a kid with Reggie White. I mean, my uncles and my grandfather would sit around and talk about him like it was Bible study. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was like. Like I'm like, who's this Reggie White guy to keep? Like I mean, I was a young kid at this time. I mean, I was what? When was he here?
87.
87, right?
Yep.
So, but I'm here.
Oh, and oddly enough, his original number wasn't 92.
No.
It was 91.
Yeah, when he first started, it was 91.
But 91.
And I was only 4 years old at that time. But I would be sat around, and they would talk about. They open up the newspaper, show what's going on. They would complain that he wasn't here. All these different things would happen. And I was just kind of like, that's all I heard about when in my early on stages as becoming a fan of sports. So if I had to pick one, like that was the guy like I was told he was my favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but then as I got older and the Randall years started coming in and Carmichael, just different people like joining the team. Those guys became my guys as time went on. But the guy that was like kind of bred into me like this guy here.
I said Wes Hopkins because like I feel like Wes doesn't get the love.
No,
as he should. And
it's funny. I wore a Wes Hopkins jersey a couple of years ago. I was at a game. This guy comes by me. He was a little drunk too. He's like, Hopkins. I'm like, yeah, Hopkins. He's like, Bernard Hopkins. I was like, wrong Philly guy. Yeah. Wes Hopkins. Man. I love Bernard Hopkins.
Pat, so what favorite 49er did you rock?
Oh, come on, man. How can you not like Jerry Rice? Come on,
I
man.
can love my. I can definitely. Rice is cool.
Yeah. I mean,
I can appreciate it for afar, but I ain't rocking his jersey.
I mean, look, I was a little guy. You know what I mean? I had,
You're still a little guy. So,
yeah.
And you got your 49er colors on.
Anthony's saying Miami's too fast for the Eagles, but the Eagles are a lot more physical than Miami. And that's where the thing is, they're gonna have to be knocking guys to the line.
Yeah.
They gotta get them throwing off their pattern.
I'll tell you what, Miami got a good defensive line though. They got guys that can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm talking about their wide receivers at the line. They need they have 5 yards. They need to be bumping hard on the 5 yards.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's not easy.
Slay's old ass ain't catching him.
Bradbury ain't. Listen,
Jalen Waddle's actually coming off of injury. Brad says, "Hey, what's up, guys? Philadelphia Eagles will win tonight against Miami. Eagles defense needs to shut Miami off."
Again, I think they have to control it. It all comes back down to control for me. Like they need to control the pace, the tempo, and by doing that, you run the ball.
Listen,
I'm not saying you never throw the ball. You gotta have the balance.
I watched the replay of the.
That's why I'm wearing Swift today.
Oh,
I watched the replay of the Bills Miami game, and with the Bills, like you said, their corners were physical with them in that game, and Tua had to hold the ball, and which gave. I feel like our defensive line's way better than Buffalo's.
Yeah.
Way better, and I feel like they can get to the quarterback. I think Tua's go. You also got to remember too, like, Hassan Reddick's usually coming, pretty much face side of the quarterback. In other words, the quarterback can see him coming. He's going to be coming from Tua's blind side tonight, so that could be a big thing to watch too, as well.
Steve saying West got the attention when he played, but it's still a complete mystery of how he faded. Is Dawkins the reason? I think it's a little bit of that, but I think it's time.
Yeah, it was time.
I think it's more just time. I mean,
West was done before Dawkins even.
People will still talk about Reggie White to this day, but you ask anybody, and I'm 40 years old, he's not the first guy that's going to pop my head.
Right. So, look, guys, just to wrap up, Mike, who do you got? What's your final prediction?
My final prediction is Birds. I'm going to say Birds 38, Fish 31.
I got the Birds losing. 24-17.
Al?
All right, I got you.
All right, go ahead. We got this covered.
Go ahead.
Thing, man. So this is a tough one because I'm trying to be analytical, but there's parts of me I just don't feel like the Eagles lose this one, and I don't know why. Outside of, I don't think I'm not sitting there. I don't want to say Miami's offense is overrated. That's not the term I want to use.
No,
but I think I think they're not unbeatable like people think they are, and that's my problem. Like that's why I don't. And I think they will look at last week's game and make adjustments.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about the blueprint to beat Hurts. There's a blueprint to beat everybody.
There's a blueprint. Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like but the blueprints change because you adjust those things. You bring guys in at times to strengthen an area so he doesn't have like a blind side or something like that. Oh my God. I go to the PC and Pat's Freddy Krueger sweater looks worse. Bills 35, Pat's 0.
Oh, it's ADO.
Yeah. I love it. So that's why I'm saying it's really hard. I do think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like a 3-point. I think it's a field goal difference.
I just think it's going to be high. I think it's going to be high scoring.
I
don't know why. I just have that going.
Do you think the Eagles can score more than 31 points?
Yes, I do.
Do you think they can score more than 36 points?
Yes. That's why I put them at 38. I got them 38-31.
38-31.
I don't think they're breaking 40 now.
I'm going 35-31.
Okay.
Eagles. I hate it because I'm an Eagles fan, and you're going to get that. That's what you're going to get from people. You're going to get, hey, you're an Eagles fan. You're being a homer. No, I think being on Sunday night, I think being in Philadelphia, that's a plus for us. If this was in Miami, I'd probably.
And it's supposed to be really, really chilly down there, too.
Yeah.
They're talking like upper 40s by the time game time. By halftime, it's supposed to be like upper 40s.
Yeah.
So that can play into a factor, too. When we're done this, I still got my 6-pack.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. Okay.
Time.
Dude, take your time.
All right, because I didn't know. I didn't know how long we were going.
I think you had a call from the foreman and how to go.
Oh, okay. But I'm going to do my
Anthony
6-pack.
saying 38-21 Finns.
Wow, you think they're going to almost double up?
Listen, this is a game where if you trip over yourself, that could happen quickly, and that's a good point. Like if that score can happen if the Eagles make
turnovers,
self-inflicted wounds, those kind of things.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say 37-10.
Brad, I would love that. Brad, if that happens, I'm going to send you an EOP T-shirt or something. Like, I'd be the happiest boy in the world, Brad. Like, I'd be honest with you.
37-10. I mean, out of necessity, the Birds score. I have a sneaky suspicion Carter becomes the more disruptive rhythm to something. There you go. That's what's going to be, because Tua's got to step up.
Mm-hmm. And Tua's, how tall is Tua?
Like 6 foot.
Yeah.
Like 6 foot.
I mean, he's got to look over. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis got to throw their arms in the air. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to take his vision away.
They're going to look and be like, remember us, boy?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right?
But I'm going to do my weekly 6-pack right here. Guys, this is my weekly 6-pack. If you have some extra shillings, whatever platform you choose to use.
It's all for fun.
It's all for fun. I am going to go with the Cleveland Browns giving 3.5 points over those Indianapolis Colts. Again, no Anthony Richardson. For them, they're going with the stash. Gardner Minshew. Cleveland's just going to be rolling them.
Little Minshew choo-choo.
Yeah. I got the Bills minus a touchdown today over those New England Patriots. So there'd be the Bills minus 7.5. The Las Vegas Raiders are only a 2. They're a minus 2.5 points against those Chicago Bears. I took them. I took Las Vegas minus the 2.5. The next 3 are the New York Football Giants over the Washington Commanders, and I'm getting 3 points, guys. I would definitely jump on that. For some odd reason, the Giants know how to play against the Commanders. They just really kind of whoop up on them. So they've won, I think, 8 of the last 10 against them. So, and I believe the game is in New York today. So I'm going with the G-Men. I think Tyrod Taylor gets it done over there. So I'm taking the Giants plus 3. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. I'm taking the Falcons plus 2.5.
Okay.
And my game, my lock of the week is the Los Angeles Rams at home minus 3 against those Pittsburgh Steelers. So guys, there it is. It's Cleveland minus 3.5, Buffalo minus 7.5, Las Vegas minus 2.5, New York Giants plus 3, Atlanta Falcons plus 2.5, and my lock of the week, the Rams minus 3 over those Steelers. So let's see how we do, huh?
So we do. How are we doing so far?
Oh, I'm taking a beating.
Oh, yeah?
I'm taking a beating. But hey, listen.
Last week or in general?
Overall, last week and overall. Last week, I had, believe it or not, I had Detroit minus 3. They won. Matter of fact, hold on. Maybe we could just double check this real quick, just so I don't screw up. But the last 2 weeks, I've gotten my butt kicked, guys. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Don't lie to us. We don't like that.
Yeah, I try to keep it real. Like, I make my picks, and, I don't claim to be no Jimmy the Greek or whatever that dude was.
Jimmy the Greek.
Yeah, remember him? He used to be on the NFL Today?
I do. I actually had friends we called Jimmy the Greek, and he wasn't even Greek.
Yeah. Let's see. Who did I have last week? I had the Eagles losing. They lost. I had the Niners. They lost. I had the Atlanta Falcons. They lost. Hold on.
Yo,
I had Detroit. I had Detroit minus 3. They won. I had I had the Chargers plus 1.5, so I lost by 1.5 on that one.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the Rams. Oh, I had the Rams minus 7.5. So I won the Rams game and the Detroit game. I lost the other 4.
Yeah.
So I had 2-4 week last week, man. So I let people know. I'm honest about it. What's going on there, Ryan?
Ryan's always chiming in. What's going on, bud? Steve's saying gambling brings the family together when you wind up all living in the same room. Joey Merlin.
No, man, listen, do not spend more than what you can afford to play.
Yeah, right. And Ryan says 2 defensive TDs tonight. Mike, let me ask you that question. I mean, is that like a
Jalen Carter fumble, Jordan Davis
scoop and score?
Scoop and score, Jordan Davis. Why not?
Nothing like a big man score.
Why not?
Nothing
Who's
like
going to tackle him?
score. It just has. It just is that way.
1 pick six and a Jordan Davis scoop and score.
Yeah. No. So let's do this since this is technically kind of pregame. Who is your player of the game here?
Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick. You think he's going to be?
He's coming to his blind side. He's coming around to his blind side tonight. I think he's going to have a field day.
You think so?
Yeah. I think he may end up getting 3 sacks tonight and probably causing some significant damage.
And you think a lot of the guys we were worried about?
Is Rashad Penny going to play tonight?
No. I don't think he ever sees it down in Eagles football outside of a routing.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. Like it kind of comes to the Lorenzen and Walker situation.
Yeah.
Like you see him like what's he had, like maybe 10 snaps all year long.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. For me, I would definitely. I don't know, man. It's weird. Like, why would you keep him on the roster if you're not going to use him?
I don't know. Maybe that's
Maybe their idea is to use Swift or in all these other games and then bring him in later. I guess I don't know.
I really don't know. It is a little dumbfounding. I mean, because when he is good, he's good.
Yeah, like he averages 6 yards.
Is it like Trey Sermon all over again?
I hope not. I mean, you see, he got picked up by the Colts.
Yeah, I don't know if that helps you at all, but at least he'll probably see some playing time.
Yeah, probably. Well, no, not really, because they have Zach Moss and then Jonathan Taylor just came back too.
They extended him too, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. So
what is going on with Trey Sermon?
That poor guy, he keeps getting picked up and getting 3 guys in front of him.
Love him, like they talk about him.
He was a beast in college, man. Like I watched him play at Ohio State.
A lot of guys were beasts. There's plenty of guys that are a beast in college, but dropped a lot.
That Bo Jackson guy was kind of good back in the day.
So
who's your standout tonight? Well, that's my defensive standout. My offensive standout, I'm going to go with the guy you're wearing.
That's where I was going to go. I was going to go Swift. I think Swift. He hasn't had a great game. As not like.
And they can run. They can run the ball.
Yeah, and I think you can run on them a little bit more.
Dallas Goedert too. Watch out for Dallas Goedert too, because Miami's linebackers are kind of garbage.
And maybe it's a little misdirection too. If you think about you're going to be worrying about going downfield for home run hits with AJ. Now with Julio Jones,
and he practiced all week too, so
yeah,
he's ready to go
with Devonta Smith. So maybe that's where nobody's gonna be worried about Dallas. We're gonna take it. We're gonna go to.
I mean, I hope this isn't a smokescreen like they did with getting Robert Quinn. Remember Robert Quinn last year? I want to see straight line speed of Jordan Davis. That might be Larry Allen. Sprint and chase down that pick 6. Yo, that'd be funny.
Him and Carter, they're not just human mountains. They're monsters, but they can move. The speed of them, it is probably the most.
If you watch them, and you watch, to be honest, the Jets green looks so much better than the Eagles green last week. Wish the Birds would go back to that green like they are tonight. Well, at least for 2 games a year, they're going to.
Devonta Smith, I think it was Devonta Smith, in an interview said that they should be our
new ones.
You want to like it more? I don't like the jersey. I mean, I love the jersey. Don't get me wrong. I love the helmets more, with the gray wing on the side, the gray with the white stroke wing.
I think they should have did it with a white helmet and put the green.
I do like the Jets green helmets.
I do.
They're like chrome Kelly, chrome Kelly green.
Theirs is more like a forest green, though.
Yeah, it's a little darker. And that's the thing. I said that last night. You can go to 10 stores and buy Kelly green shirts, just like non.
Yeah, and it could be.
And each Kelly green is going to be a shade different. I don't think the Eagles D will contain Tua because Desai turned into Jim Schwartz.
Well, Jim Schwartz got the number 1 or number 2 ranked defense in the league right now.
Yeah.
So He's doing something right. But then again, though, he's not running the same defense as he was here, though. If you take a look at it, like they're not playing back at the sticks at third downs. So
maybe he learned his lesson finally.
yeah, right.
Got to come here and make some mistakes. I don't know, but I can't listen. I don't think they're. I hope they don't. Let me say this. I hope they don't come out and prevent defense to start the game.
No, you got to go after. You got to attack. Like that's one thing I gave Buffalo. Buffalo attacked it, and that's what the Eagles got to do. Like the side's going to have to attack. You're going to have to let these guys be on an island. You get Blankenship back tonight. All right, you tell Terrell Edmonds stay home and stop running around smacking people after the whistle.
Yeah,
or near the sideline.
I'm actually going to pull up the injury report. I want to see what the final injury report was going into today. And it's fun, dude. And if you haven't seen it yet, guys, go to the the Eagles Twitter or something and look at how they Kelly Greened out the whole stadium.
Yeah, it looks.
I was supposed to go tonight, but unfortunately, I couldn't. Something came up and I couldn't make it. That I mean, even their website, Kelly Green, the whole site. I mean, they still have the normal Eagles logo, but everything's Kelly Green. It's pretty funny. So Reed Blankenship is out.
They said he was in. Now he's out.
Did not participate at all this weekend. He's out. Status game out. Lane Johnson, he's a full participant on Friday. He's playing today. Bradley Roby out.
We just signed him.
I know, but he's going to be out for a couple weeks at least. They said with his injury. Of course, Devontae Smith's in. Carter's in. Dallas Goedert's in.
No, and that's why they signed Josiah Scott then, because Roby's not here.
Darius Slay, he's in. Milton Williams is in. Sidney Brown is in.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You can put him.
Pick 6 Ricks
is back.
All
right.
And Marlon Tuipulotu.
Okay.
So let's look at this. Jalen Ramsey is officially out.
Okay.
For the Dolphins. Xavier Howard is still questionable.
That's another one. That's a corner.
Alec Ingold is
Ingold. Yeah, he's a fullback.
Yep, he is questionable. Nick Needham is questionable, and Connor Williams, their offensive lineman, is questionable. Other than that, everybody else is there.
Okay.
So that is your injury report for your Eagles Dolphins game. Early on, it is a Sunday night game. The one thing is
the beginning of that
hotel room and go get a nap, like because all these games are late now. I mean, last night you and Matty B were here till like 12:15, just doing the post game show. Went an hour and 15 minutes. And by the way, we're not complaining, guys. Can I just throw this out there?
Thank you.
Just thank you guys for hanging in with us.
Like for us to go an hour on any type of pre-show, or post game show, that's
one of two things. It's either a testament to you guys, or we're just that chauvinistic, or not chauvinistic. We're just that egotistical that we think that people are still paying attention. But the numbers were there, so obviously you guys are.
You guys were commenting up until we signed off, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys, and we appreciate the appreciation from you guys, and love talking to you. Like that's the thing. That's what makes what we do different than listen. Would I like to be on radio? Sure, that'd be cool. Taking calls, and me and Matty B were talking about this before, and we were talking about. We can take calls here in studio, and we're thinking about because I would love to hear from some of these names and words I see up on the screen. It's a little dicey because you never know what you're going to get sometimes, and I don't have a dump button like the big boys do.
Not yet.
But we're talking about maybe doing an open, like at one point. An open show where the phone line is the big part, and see if we can bring it back in, and allow people as long as it doesn't get taken advantage of. Let's see. A couple comments here. Schwartz knows how to play to strengths other than Kendricks. Not everyone is a good blitzer. Desai keeps to prevent defense last 4 games, while they should be blitzing a lot, but the lack of blitzing got annoying. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's all about balance. It's game to game too. Let me put it this way: if you blitz a lot against the Dolphins, you are rolling the dice. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it can burn you. And that's why I'm not saying they're going to play prevent, but you got to play smart. You got to be able to make that in-game adjustment. I mean, like play call adjustment. Like you got to trust that you're going to be able to call it in. Hey, we're going to send somebody on a blitz here. Because if not, we'll get eaten alive. Go look at the Dolphins fans video at post game at Patch Geno's. I saw it on Instagram.
Oh boy,
it's in the WTTW podcast page. I'll check that out. Or it's on. I wish Desai is out.
Wow, really? Like I don't.
Andy does not like Sean Desai. I mean, guys, can I just put this out there? Like, we got to give guys a chance.
Yeah, you can't keep replacing defensive coordinators every year.
Yeah, like listen, I like Sean Desai from where he came from. I didn't say his pedigree seemed like it should be there with the guys he's worked under and everything. Like, don't forget, you have a lot of injuries in that defense, and you have to kind of play to the strengths and the weaknesses. Because if they start blitzing and and they don't get to them, you got to rely on our secondary, who's very
right
now and against like Tyreek Hill, Waddle, like guys like that.
Well, the only thing, Waddle's banged up. Like they may not have put it on there, but he was banged up. So him coming back.
Well, guys who aren't out, like some guys who aren't out, or have been out or on, out on 4 weeks or something, they don't put on the injury report on the site for whatever reason. I don't you don't see Cam Jurgens on that injury report because he's on 4-week IR or whatever it is.
Oh, excuse me, sorry guys. Like I said, it's been a long weekend.
Yeah, and then all these late games kill us. You know what I mean? God, today would have been a great 1:00 game. Just a perfect time to have a 1:00 game.
I don't know. No, I would have went for a 4:25 game.
So you go home and take a nap.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. As soon as I leave here,
1:00 game, leave 11:00, go sleep for an hour and a half, and still get up in plenty of time for the game.
Yeah, true.
I much rather tune in and talking on the phone because I type stuff that's way too long most times.
Ryan, I got to give it to you, dude. Like you type.
I like Ryan writes a.
He writes a paragraph.
He writes a thesis, man.
Yeah.
He's got his college thesis ready to go. That's why I like Ryan. Ryan, we're going to put something together where we have a show, allow the commenters to call in. And Ryan, I love to talk and debate things with callers or fans and things like that. I think it's great. I think guys like you make it worthwhile, man. It's absolutely a good idea. I want Greg Williams as coach.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
No, I don't want Mr. Bounty, man.
Yeah. Isn't he out of football?
Yeah.
Yeah. Banged up is banged up. Vic Fangio would probably do the same thing. Yeah. And don't forget, you had Vic Fangio coming here today. What happens if the blitz is a lot and they keep the game under control? And I get you. Here's my thing is, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm not saying you're right either, because in this
side blitzes,
but in this scenario, especially with the type of players who are going downfield, yes, if you want to get the two, the blitz will come. But what are they going to start doing? They're going to start shortening the patterns on
crossing routes.
Yeah, and that's how you're going to beat the blitz. And then if you get Tyreek Hill in an open field, even in a short crossing route,
he can take. Dude, look at him last week. He pulled his hamstring. Right, he goes over the sideline. Tyreek Hill gets it massaged for about a good 2 or 3 plays, comes back in, and literally takes a 10-yard cutout and goes 50 yards. Like,
yeah. So you have to understand who you're playing to, the strengths and weaknesses too. But I'm not against it. And I would listen. Wearing the Kelly green makes you think old school Philadelphia Eagles. Blitzing, just bring in the heat. It's this team.
It makes you think of Buddy Ball, and that's what Buddy Ball. But Buddy Ball wasn't like. Let's keep it real. What did Buddy Ball win? He was a regular season guy. He won. He did everything. Buddy Ryan was 0-3 in the playoffs. That's why Buddy Ryan got fired.
Yeah,
and he lost 3. Actually, he was 0-4 because he lost. No, 0-3. He lost 88, 89, and 90.
Listen, it's
3 straight years.
It's revisionist history, and that's the thing is. Remember that time is we were happy as long as we just beat
Dallas twice a year.
Yeah,
like
we lose every other game, but beating Dallas, we won.
Was our Super Bowl, and you know what? We've come farther than that now. Like, I'm sorry, I like Buddy Ryan. He did bring that culture here of a nasty defense. Yes, but he didn't win nothing. But yet, people put him up there on the same pedestal as like an Andy Reid, who like got all these wins.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wish the Birds had a defense system that only about rushing the passer. Need a great coverage system too. I mean, it's like everything. You need a good running game to have a good passing game, and vice versa. Well, their thought is to be heavy on the front line, put the power to them, and then it allows the secondary to do their job a little better, which makes sense. It makes sense. But it is going to be a game tonight. I'm not putting. I think it was Steven who said it earlier. This is a hard game to predict. We do because we have to. But anything can happen tonight. So
Al, you said 35-31?
35-31.
Pat said 24-17.
Dolphins.
Hold on, Philly.
No, he had Dolphins.
No. Pat said 24-17 Miami. And I'm
know.
going 38-31.
How funny if this game turned to be a 12-7 game with these
offenses.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Like a field goal kicking game.
Yeah.
15-12. That would be great.
One off the foot of Jake Elliott 5 times. You know what I mean? Like that would be what would happen. Like, that would be typical.
Like if they got to 21, what was the Monday night? What was it? Packers Cowboys, I think, a couple years ago, or not a couple, but about 20 years ago on Monday Night Football. They didn't score not one touchdown. I think the final score was 21-18. Bonio had 7 field goals for the Cowboys, and whoever the kicker was back in the 90s, might have been Mason Crosby, for the Packers, had 6 field goals. It was 13 field goals in the game.
Really?
Yeah, and the final score was 21-18.
All on field goals?
It was like a Monday night game. I'll never forget it.
Well, I mean, that's going to bring us to probably the end of the show. Guys, I want to thank you. Again, we always like to thank you guys. I mean, we appreciate it makes what we do worthwhile. We try to be appreciative of everybody in the industry, and everybody, does what they do. You guys, especially some of you guys we see all the time. So
thanks again for
we hope to have that phone call show with you guys, so it allows us to actually hear your voices and debate us a little bit. I don't mind. Listen, I'm not going to agree with everything you say. I don't expect you to agree with everything I say, and that's what makes sports.
Yep.
Any given Sunday, that term comes from somewhere. But we are tired, for the lack of better words, but not tired enough to not do what we have to do for you. So a little of the programming update, like I said to you guys. Tonight this is your pregame show for the Eagles. There is no halftime show, but there will be a postgame show brought to you by Pat, Austin, and Joey Marks. So expect a good one tonight, especially depending on how that works.
Especially if they win. If they win, that's going to be a party.
If they win, Pat's got the Super Bowl tickets.
I'm apologizing now. Pat may not have his pants on. I'm just letting you know. If they win, Pat will not probably have his pants on. So I'm just going to apologize. I will be asleep by then, but
luckily it's nipples up. the camera shots, I should say. 23-17 Dolphins. Again, you expect a little bit low. Okay. I'm not.
That's
here's
40
my thing
points.
Is, you can tell me some of the wildest scores, and I'm not going to fight anybody on anything, because that's the type of game that this could be. Other than that, guys, I appreciate your time with us today. We will be. By the way, a couple articles already out on the site and then coming out on social media. All you Union fans, Diego put out a great article on last night's Union game, as well as last night's Flyers articles up from Austin. Will be on your Eagles post-game show tonight. Man's working double, triple duty for us, helping us out, being great. But guys, other than that, we'll see you next time.